It's kind of crazy when you think about it, how much of the world's actual value is just sitting there, completely locked up. I'm talking about valuable assets on paper that you can't really spend or invest. It's one of the biggest headaches in finance, but there's a really fascinating new model popping up that could honestly change the whole game.
So here's what we're going to get into. We're going to start by breaking down that big hurdle, then we'll look at a brand new financial blueprint and see exactly how it works. After that, we'll dig into the surprisingly old school legal ideas it's built on, and finally, what this all means for how we think about risk and reward.
All right, so to really get the solution, we've got to understand the problem first. It all begins with this huge wall that gets built around valuable assets, especially in private markets. It's a wall called illiquidity. I mean, it seems like a simple question, right? But it cuts right to the heart of a massive financial problem. Let's say you own a piece of a private company or you have a stake in some long-term fund. On paper, you could be a millionaire, but that wealth is totally locked away. You can't use it for new opportunities, and you can't use it if you need cash right now.
This is what the pros call liquidity risk. Think about it. Investors in private funds are often stuck in these mandatory holding periods. We're talking 3 to 8 years. For that whole time, you can't just sell your position. So if a great new investment comes along, or you need to cover other financial commitments, you're stuck. You might have to sell at a crazy discount, assuming you can even find someone to buy it.
So how do you break down that wall? How do you get access to that value? Well, the answer seems to be in a totally new financial blueprint, a model that's specifically designed to create liquidity from these assets that have always been stuck. And leading the charge here are platforms like Justice Fund Exchange. You'll see it called JFE. What they've done is develop a system that totally rethinks how capital gets raised. It's basically a lifeline for people who have these valuable but illiquid holdings. And the difference between this and traditional lending is just night and day. Normally, if you want a loan, you, the borrower, have to put up your own assets as collateral. You're completely on the hook. JFE's model just flips that whole script. The collateral actually comes from a third party, which shields you from the risk. And the capital is non-recourse, which is huge. It means if your project goes south, they can't come after your house or your personal bank accounts. You can raise money without personal guarantees and without giving away equity in your company. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds almost too good to be true. So how in the world do they actually pull it off? Let's zoom right in on the mechanics of how this thing really works. So here's the play-by-play. It all starts when a third-party depositor, and this is key, it's not the person looking for the money, buys up some super liquid, super safe assets, like certificates of deposit. Then, and this is crucial, they buy way more than what's needed for the loan. Those assets get locked in and assigned to the funding bank. And to wrap it all up with a legal bow, an automated UCC filing gives the bank a priority claim, making the whole setup incredibly secure for the lender. And this right here, this number is the secret sauce, the key to the whole thing. That third party doesn't just match the capital needed. No, they provide collateral worth 235% of it. Think about that massive safety buffer. It's a powerful shield against market swings, and it gives the bank all the confidence it needs to make the loan happen. And here it is, the ultimate benefit for the person actually getting the capital. It's spelled out right here. Your repayment is only tied to the performance of that collateral that someone else put up. Your personal assets, your company's assets, they're all legally protected. It's a fundamental change to the entire risk-reward equation for entrepreneurs and investors. Now, you'd think a model this advanced would be all about cutting-edge code and complex algorithms, right? But what's so wild is that its real power comes from mixing that modern tech with one of the oldest ideas in all of law. So the tech side of things is this absolute beast called the notary chain protocol. You can think of it like a digital notary on steroids. It uses blockchain to create a permanent, unchangeable, time-stamped record of any document. It's constantly watching for any signs of tampering, and it can even automatically void a contract if someone makes an unauthorized change. And of course, the whole thing is locked down with military-grade encryption. But here's the twist. The legal rock that all this futuristic tech is built on is the simple concept of a trust, which has been around for more than 400 years. A trust is basically a legal lockbox. You put assets inside, a neutral trustee manages them, and they are legally walled off from everyone else. This creates something called bankruptcy remoteness, which means the assets are safe even if one of the companies involved goes bust. And this is where it all clicks together to create a system that's pretty much unbreakable. The technology gives you that unchangeable proof and automatic enforcement. But the ancient, time-tested principles of trust law give you the fundamental legal protection, that legal ring fence that courts have honored for centuries. It's really the best of both worlds.
Okay, so let's pull back for a second. What does this all really mean? Why should we care about this fusion of old law and new tech? What are the bigger implications for the future of finance? Well, for one, this isn't just a theory on a whiteboard. There's a whole ecosystem of real companies building this out. We've mentioned Justice Fund Exchange and Notary Chain, but you've also got players like Seiss Fund Exchange, who are all creating these top-tier institutional grade platforms for this new way of doing things. And the tech underneath it all is incredibly versatile. I mean, just look at this chart. Notary Chain isn't some one-trick pony. It's already being used to secure all kinds of financial agreements, from complicated escrow and arbitration settlements, all the way to insurance, loans, and even trade finance. Now, this part is absolutely critical. This is not the Wild West of finance. The whole framework is built for compliance from the ground up. It bakes in everything from institutional token standards and automated legal filings to KYC and anti-money laundering checks. It's all designed to work with major banking and securities regulations. And that is what gives the big traditional institutions the confidence they need to get on board.
So we'll end with this question. By taking this incredibly innovative technology and anchoring it to centuries-old legal principles of trust and protection, are we actually building a financial system that's more resilient, more accessible, and ultimately more stable? It's a pretty powerful thought that maybe the key to unlocking the value of the future is to have a deep respect for the wisdom of the past.